We're on air. So, hello everybody. Welcome to my business interview, and we occasionally interview businesses who perform certain services for other businesses. And in this case, we have Patrick McGeough, sorry. And Patrick has an interesting business. He helps businesses recover some of the costs that they pay every month, don't even think about it. And so we're going to let Patrick explain what he does, right, Patrick? So
That's right.
What are you up to? Tell us.
Basically, everyone's busy doing their business day by day, and they don't really have a chance to take a little health check of how things are going. So we come in and basically do kind of a review, question and answer of how's it going in a lot of different operational areas. It could be in the area of communications, could be the area of recruitment. We just basically go through those areas and ask some questions of how things are in those areas. Once we determine, some areas that might be getting a little out of hand, we actually then will take those away and get an assessment done for you to see how it's going and whether
So what are you saying? Like, I pay my, let's say, telephone bill or whatever, my cable bill, my cell bill, right? Is those are the kind of expenses that you look at and then kind of see if there's a better deal or something, or how does it work?
Yeah, basically that's it. Kind of check and see how things are actually going currently. So we actually benchmark the costs that are currently going on month by month, and also seeing what contract arrangements are in place. And since we've basically been doing this with a lot of different customers, we can actually assess and tell whether you're getting the best on the market out there and whether there's better arrangements too. It's not just a cost benefit analysis either. We've got to also take in consideration your company and your needs too. Not everything has to be.
So if I have a contract, let's say on my cell bill, and I got 3 years to go, and you look at it and figure that I'm paying too much. What can you do if I'm under contract?
Yes. Well, not all the time do you have to complete the contract. Actually, carriers do want to keep up a good rapport with their clients, and they don't want to make their clients feel like they're stuck. So in many cases, they will actually provide a better term and restart for you. And on the other side, too, other carriers are very anxious to get your business too, and often they're willing to make it worthwhile for you to move your voice and data services over to them by giving a little incentive. Depends on how big of a opportunity it is, but they often give a very good set of credits in hundreds and hundreds of dollars just to move devices over. If it's from one mobile plan to another mobile plan.
I also remember talking to you that you can actually help somebody see if they pay too much tax.
Yep. Actually, the name of the company is PM Group. So we have a group of different expertise that actually can take an assessment of tax areas and give an assessment to see if you're paying the correct GST, for example. Other things could be recruitment. People are needing to go out and hire people to get their workforce. Well, there's a whole variety of different organizations out there that will provide you excellent service, and we can actually make sure that you're lined up with the most cost-effective and also efficient group to make sure that you get the most bang for your buck.
Yeah, that sounds like a heck of a good idea. So beside like when we say communications, we just assume things like telephones and those kind of things. I also noticed in your notes that you can help somebody with their travel supplies and shipping. So
Yeah.
you kind of do all kinds of things, eh?
Well, it is an operational assessment. So one of our first meetings is to sit down with somebody who has an oversight of all those areas and say, how is it going? How are the communication costs? They say, hey, we were really done well. Well, that might be an area that doesn't have to be delved into, but it could be an area maybe you have high legal costs, possibly. That might be an area to be checked into. So we actually go through. And the good thing about that is you don't have to actually waste time looking in areas that are already running well. We'll just target ones that actually need a little bit of assessment. And what's even nicer is that our service is no risk. So we're not actually putting a fee up front. We're actually going to go and find out if there is an area that can have some cost recovery before you have to find out just what the cost of it. And most of the time we share. Well, no, actually, let me put that in a better way: is that we share in the savings of the cost recovery as a no risk way of going forward, if you choose.
So what kind of businesses could benefit from your service? Is there a size of the business or type of the business, or what businesses should be able to benefit from your services?
Businesses of any size, of course, and the more you spend on your operations, the more that you'll get a return. But we don't actually say, well, you got to be a certain size. Find that if you're a business owner with an office with staff, those undoubtedly need to be checked into and see if there is some cost reduction that can be done. Solopreneurs often are pretty good at keeping their pencil sharp, but I'd be willing to sit down and talk to somebody and say, how's it going? And if they have some need, I can talk it over with them. But often it's someone who has a small business, a growing business, all the way up to, we've done retail chains where we've saved hundreds, thousands of dollars per year. So it can be, anything from small, medium-sized business all the way up to the big businesses, because we have a group of organizations and companies that can actually do check and see how things are going and ramp up to whatever size we need to.
So I guess it would make sense that the bigger the business, probably the bigger the expenses, right? So and there's probably potentially more chance of larger savings.
Yeah.
So the way I understand, you go in, you talk to the person responsible for looking after the costs, whether it's the businessman himself or whether it's a financial officer or whoever is there, and you kind of get his authority that you can go to the suppliers. Is that how it works then?
Yeah, once we've sat down with the controller or CFO or somebody in charge of one of the areas, we get a letter of authorization through the organizations involved, and then and they are able to work on your behalf along with myself to go and work on your behalf and see how the arrangements are and find out if everything's just the way they should be. The other way, also just to note, is that when we do get involved, we actually basically are self-funding ourselves rather than making it a budgetary item. We are giving you a cost recovery and funding our assistance through that savings.
So the way I understand, I guess you kind of share in the savings, right? Like, I mean, if you can save them $2,000 a month, then you would share that savings that the business makes and take part of that as your fee. Is that how it works?
Yeah, depending on the area, it can be something that's ongoing so we can help out through 3-year term. Other areas, it's, oh, here's the savings, and we split it, and just continue on from there. Really, no risk approach where we say, well, if the savings isn't intriguing enough and you don't want to move forward, then there was no share in the savings to go forward on. But most cases, companies are realize that, well, if we can implement an arrangement that saves money, and they're more than happy to move forward.
So is there kind of a percentage that you have an average that you'd say that business could save on their communication costs?
I find, basically if an organization is saving 20% or more, they're very, motivated to move forward on it, because there is a little bit of need to implement possibly, or rearrange, or renegotiate. So, 20% or more seems to be the point where people go, yes, this makes sense, let's move forward. It's a no risk approach, and we can save some money. So let's get started.
So I know you've been doing this for some time. I just wonder, do you remember what was the biggest saving you found in somebody's business?
Yeah, well, in our office, it was I think $120,000 per year savings.
Wow.
So, but there are other offices that have gotten even more than that.
No kidding.
Of course, that was a fairly sizable organization. So, you can see that they were saving $120,000 a year. We were splitting it 50-50, and we were actually taking our share and using it as resource time over the 3 years to make sure everything got implemented properly, and they did indeed get all the cost recovery they were expecting.
So I guess, yeah, like you say, it could work for anybody. Of course, the bigger you are, the bigger the savings potentially.
But you look at a smaller organization or a smaller company that's spending $2,000 per month. They'd be happy to save $400, and they would be happy to split that with someone to have ongoing help. Or if it's just a one-time savings on implementation, then they're really quite happy to.
I would say that most small businesses probably spend a couple $1,000s a month at least, right? Between phones and taxes and internet and all those things, right?
Office supplies and all those sort of things. It's hard to come across a company that's not spending at least.
Right.
So,
see, that sounds like a heck of a good service. Everybody should be using it, right? Yeah. Anything else you'd like to share with us about your service?
I say, really, if you feel that you have areas that you haven't been able to just check, have me come in. We'll have a talk. We'll go over the different areas that cost recovery could be checked into. And at the very worst, you'd say, well, geez, I think we're doing pretty fine. Thanks for coming by. Or probably you'll say, yeah, could you take a look at this? Can you go off and make sure that we're getting the best for our buck on that? And if we come back and show you that, yeah, there is something that's valuable here and you want to move forward, well, not until that point, until there's actually savings involved. There was no fee.
Great. Well, thank you very much for spending time with us, Patrick. And for all of you out there, remember, everybody's got costs. Yes. Most of those we just pay every month, write a check, don't even think about it, or say, oh, maybe I'll check it next month. Yeah. Most people would probably say that, right? And so the bills get paid, and maybe you are paying too much. So get hold of Patrick, and he'll tell you whether you can save money. And if you can't, cost you nothing. So how can you beat that?
Yeah, you focus on your business. We'll find out if there's something we can do.
All right. Thank you very much, Patrick. Have a great day, and thank you for your input, and we'll pass it along.
Okay, thanks, Jeff.
Take care. Bye-bye. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Another interview with a valuable service for a local business. See you next time.